How do you improve in Apex Legends? What is going to happen in Season 15? How's the future of Apex looking? What I hate the most? Titans in Apex, and a lot more is what we are talking about today. It's my seasonal-ish questions and answer video where I take the questions from you guys, the community, in either my Discord or on my community YouTube page. There were hundreds of questions. I'm not going to be able to answer them all, as I don't have the time, and straight up, some of y'all ask really weird and uncomfortable questions, I'm not going to lie. That to the side, though, let's kick it off with the community Discord questions. We're going to start off with a question from Vipe. Thoughts on the possibility of Titans in Apex in the future? For me, I think a mode in Apex Legends where we do have Titans just kind of makes sense. Implementing more Titanfall features in Apex Legends so we get that BR mode and that full-fledged like Titanfall experience in one game, I think it would be pretty cool. Not to mention, I think adding wall running in some sort of LTM or just more than outside of like the shadow mode, I think would be a pretty cool thing to have. Deck the Crusader asks, best legend for competitive play? Kind of depends on your squad if you're playing solo or if you are playing with randoms. For me, I think I'm going to pick Bloodhound if you are a solo queue warrior, but overall, if you're looking for that best legend for competitive play, it's probably going to be Valkyrie. Billy 2008 asks, best defense legend to play as right now? You can kind of interpret this in different ways. I am going to pick Newcastle as my best defensive legend. Newcastle is a little bit of the hybrid legend, honestly has support, defensive, and aggressive properties, but I do think Newcastle is the best defensive legend. Fongstar asks, who is the worst legend in your opinion? Right now, I'm probably going to pick Revenant. I'll have more in my seasonal tier list that is going to come out next week, but overall, I think Revenant's pretty weak. He could use a buff in a lot of aspects of his kit. Mucking Fuppets asks, opinions on the current state of Apex? I kind of went over this last week, and honestly, I've released like 2 or 3 videos over the last couple weeks that do talk about Apex Legends in the state. I'll link that video in the description or in the pinned comment down below. Overall, I think Apex Legends is doing a great job. They're one of the best battle royales out there. They're a AAA studio from Respawn, obviously. And even though the optics do look pretty negative at times, Apex is actually doing very, very well. Make no mistake though, I do think Apex is losing a little steam. I wish they would just be a little bit more innovative so we can have like new features and we're really pushing boundaries. We've been a little safe lately. I'd love to switch it up and try new things. King Games 203 asks, what legend do you play for fun? I usually play Pathfinder. That is my main. If I'm just playing for fun, I'm probably going to go on him just because I can have a good time kind of slinging myself all around. I cannot read your name, but why is solo queuing so hard? Solo queuing in general is just really hard because Apex Legends is a team game, so when you are taking out that team aspect and you're going in solo, that generally is why it's going to be pretty difficult. Quality GG asks, how long do you think Apex will last? This always gets asked a ton, like how long until a game dies? Games really just don't die. Apex Legends is a billion, and I repeat that, $1 billion company and a game. Apex is going to be around for quite some time. Zufari asks, is ranked worth playing? Ranked is absolutely worth playing. Ranked is the mode to go to if you are kind of getting bored of pubs. If you want to improve your skill, you actually should be playing ranked because playing with equally ranked players or playing with players that are a little bit above your skill is going to make you a better player. And in tandem with this, Yuri asks, why is ranked so hard to solo queue, even up to plat? Ranked is hard to solo queue because of that previous comment. Apex Legends is a team game. So if you're going in solo and you're kind of eliminating the team aspect, it's going to be pretty difficult. Swim Monkey asks, is it better to main 1 to 3 characters or is it better just to fill every game? For me personally, I think understanding how to play multiple characters is the way to go. It's going to make you a better, more well-rounded player. And if you can't get your main legend, you're going to have those backups, which is always good. What legends need a nerf buff? This is kind of a broad question, so I'll just pick one legend for a buff and one legend for a nerf. For a nerf, I think Seer probably needs some sort of small nerf to his passive ability, maybe the tactical as well. I think they go just a little bit too far. And as for a buff, we're going to go with that aforementioned Revenant. I think Revenant definitely could use some love. Supreme Kai asks, fastest way to level up your account, not the battle pass. If you are wondering what the fastest way to level up, it is going to be either living long in the battle royale, living long and just staying alive gives you the most experience, even over kills. And then if you are playing arena, winning arena games 3-0 like instantly, like your game's over in like 2.5 minutes, that's also a very good way to level up. But regardless, it's pretty slow overall in the grand scheme of things. Frovan asks, most efficient way to improve? I think the most efficient way to improve is probably to be tracking your recoil in the firing range. If you're doing a little bit in there before every play session, you can get 1,000 rounds out in like 5 minutes. And if you want to shoot 1,000 rounds when you're dropping, it's going to take you a couple hours more than likely to shoot 1,000 rounds unless you are a very good player and you're pushing the pedal down. Other good ways to improve is, of course, dropping pretty hot but not too hot. If you're dropping hot and you're just dying right away, you're not improving. So I generally recommend you land next to hot areas, rotate in, get some fights early on. That way you're not looting all game long to just die. Cub asks, Apex or Overwatch? And I'm going to do the cop-out answer. and pick both. But I have not really played that much Overwatch, so I really can't select either one. So maybe I should just pick Apex. Sea Monster asks, opinion and or explaining how SBMM works in Apex Legends. Skill-based matchmaking, this is going to be the very quick and dirty answer, but basically, the better you do in pubs, the better the players you are going to get. Apex looks at your more recent performance, so how your last, say, 50 or 100 games have been. If you've been slaughtering the lobbies, your lobbies are going to get harder and harder. If you are dying a lot and losing a lot, your lobbies will eventually get easier and easier. Red asks, do you think that Seer deserves to get nerfed? I kind of already went over this. I do think he deserves enough. Shody asks, I haven't really played much this season, but what's my thoughts on the LTM gun run? And what's your opinion on the ranking system and its impact to the ranks? Lastly, any clue on what next season is going to be like? This question was asked a couple of weeks ago when we didn't really have any idea as to what the future was going to be like in Apex. Season 15 looks pretty good. New map seasons are always good. And what's my opinion on the ranking system? I think the ranking system needs to go. We need to get something completely new. We need an actual ELO type of ranking in Apex Legends, not just some icon that you get based on, you know, how much you play. And for Gun Run, I think Gun Run was a success. I think it's a great LTM. I can't wait to have it come back. I'm happy that we now have Control. We now have Gun Run. I hope we keep getting LTMs like these so we can keep them on a fresh rotating basis. I think that'd be pretty cool. Darwin Crypto asks, what are the top 3 legends that a new player should main? Top 3 legends for new player right off the top of my head right now. Bloodhound, super easy, very effective legend. Your teammates are going to love it. Loba, similar with that. There's pretty much no skill involved with Loba. Everyone's going to love that you are Loba, and Loba is very effective if you don't have thumbs. And the third is probably going to be Fuse. Fuse is going to help you get good with grenades, and his tactical ability is kind of like a mini grenade, so it will help you a lot with one of Apex's core mechanics. Salisbury asks, would you recommend using other services like Pro Guides to improve? Me personally, I don't think ever paying for any sort of service to get videos or that type of thing is ever going to be worth it. If you're spending real money to improve at a video game that is really just like the casual way for us to, you know, unwind and have some fun, I don't think it's worth it. If you're paying for a one-on-one service, meaning you're going to drop 50 bucks to get an hour with a coach, I could see some value in that. And if you are looking to kind of jumpstart your skill level, I think that is pretty valuable. But all in all, I would say no, never really pay for like a Pro Guide service or something like that. I don't think it's worth it. You can get a lot of that information for free. I mean, I pretty much cover everything they would cover on my channel, and I'm not really charging you anything other than watching an ad. Shim asks, which 3 games have you been playing the most recently? Honestly, I don't play anything else really other than Apex right now. If I'm not playing Apex Legends, if I'm not making content, I am not on the computer, and I am enjoying my time with my wife. Danger Buffs asks, if you could describe Apex Legends in 1 word, what would it be? Or 2 words? I'm gonna do 2 words. Satisfyingly infuriating. Riley Pickman asks, would you like another healer? I would like another healer, but I also would like to see Lifeline get more healing aspects, lose the care package, give her another healing ability, and maybe make her passive even have some sort of healing ability. I think that would be pretty cool. But yeah, I would like another support healing type legend as well. I think that'd be dope. Gustavo Fring asks, hello Tim, what do you think of the current Halloween event? Do you think we should have gone at least free rewards trackers as a filler for people who cannot afford bundles? Absolutely. Every single event that comes out, there should be some sort of free reward to get people back into the game to play, and if not, at least you can get something for playing the events. The fact that we didn't get anything this time around is definitely not too great. Even though I will say all that free stuff is usually complete garbage and it doesn't look that good, but having something is definitely better than nothing. Harris Photography asks, do you think squads mode would be a viable thing in Apex, or would a TDM match be better? I think team deathmatch would definitely be better if arenas was like a respawn mode like TDM, not like control quite, but if arena did have a respawn mode, I think that would be good. And do I think squad modes would be good in Apex? Not really. When I went to the Season 9 preview event a year and a half ago, they actually talked about how they did test squads in arenas. When you throw in a 4th legend, things kind of get just nuts. You got another ultimate ability, you got another tactical. The combinations you can make is just a little bit too much. So I don't think squads would be too great unless you do kind of balance it where you maybe increase people's ultimate timers or ability timers. But either way, I don't think squads would be too good in Apex Legends. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't be down to try it out. I think trying it out would be pretty cool. Melvin asks, which legends did you like when they launched more than how they are today? Lifeline for sure. When Lifeline launched, she had fast heals, she had that revive shield. She was very interesting, and Lifeline now is just like a shell of what she used to be. Hayu asks, favorite loadout? It's gonna be 301 with the Mastiff or the Peacekeeper. Sleepy Inu asks, which legend would you remove from the legend list if I had to? I don't think I would really remove any legend, but I guess if I had to remove one, I would probably remove Caustic. I find Caustic pretty annoying to fight up against. Quan asks, who is more skilled, PC or controller players? This is really hard to answer. They both have have perks and things that they can do an advantage. Overall, though, I do think if you're a PC player, your general FPS skill and the amount of stuff that you can do is greater. Does not mean it's the better input, because aim assist definitely has something to kind of mention there, but I do think PC players are the general more skilled players overall. Apex Addict says, what legend do you think is being slept on, and what legend do you think that is overrated? Overrated legend, maybe Pathfinder a little bit. I know a lot of people aren't too high in Pathfinder, but for me, I think he is a little bit overrated. You know, he really just has his grapple, his zip line's pretty outdated. What legend is being slept on? Probably Loba. I feel like people don't pick up Loba enough, and Loba is very good. Getting loot in any type of game like this, extra heals, ammo, without really having to move is pretty huge. Scale asks, which guns can be holding you back and which are good enough to use at a high level? This is a really great question. Sometimes just picking guns up that are not really the greatest guns are gonna hold you back. One that I do hear a lot is the RE45. The RE45 on a statistical level is just not a great gun. It has a slow time to kill compared to the R99, and really the only thing going for the RE45 is gonna be the handling. And which are good enough to use at a high level? For me, it's definitely gonna be the Havoc. If you have really good recoil control and good timing and if you do get the turbo on the Havoc, that gun is pretty crazy, but it can hold you back as well if you don't have the skill to control it. Vix asks, should Apex make a solos mode or another LTM that you'd like to see as a permanent game mode? I would absolutely love to see a solos mode. It would kind of make me play the game more. If I had a solos mode, knowing that I didn't have to go queue up with random players who are just gonna quit. Sometimes I don't even get random teammates. I'll queue up in trios and I won't even get teammates. I'm not even like trying to play solo, which is kind of crazy, but if there were solos, I would probably play the game more. Cheza asks, what are your favorite childhood games? For me, I'm gonna say, when you say childhood, I'm gonna say like elementary school or younger. It's gonna be Mario 64. That was the first game I can remember grinding a lot. And then beyond this, Zelda Ocarina of Time is probably like my favorite game from my childhood. Cosmo asks, who's my main? This is gonna be Pathfinder. Pythagoron asks, have you ever felt like quitting Apex? Absolutely. Every now and then, kind of around the end of seasons, that's when Apex is definitely dry. And, you always kind of get those like, should I even be playing Apex? If you don't want to play the game, then just don't play the game. It's as simple as that. Go play something else, go outside, enjoy yourself. You don't have to play Apex Legends. You don't have to play any game if you don't want to. No one's forcing you. Mazikin but Spooky asks, what is your favorite game and when did you first play it? My favorite game of all time is gonna be Final Fantasy XI. I first played it on the Xbox 360. I got a magazine, it had a beta disc in it, and I think this was probably like 2006, 2007. Shortly after that, I ended up playing Final Fantasy XI on the computer for probably a decade. I still sign into the game every now and then, but it's definitely not quite the same as it was, and honestly, it'd be a lot better if I had other people to play it with, but I love Final Fantasy XI. It's a great time. Josh Man asks, what would you say to an old person just starting to play Apex? For starters, I would say don't take it too seriously. You're gonna get absolutely dominated when you are first starting out, and just try to play with the intentions of improving. So think about what you could have done better after every engagement. Another question from Harry's Photography, what happened to the TimPro Plays channel? Good question. Quick update on the TimPro Plays channel. I haven't posted over there in like 6 months or so, maybe 7 months, something like that. Basically, I stopped posting over there just because it was sort of more of a test channel for me. I did think about posting weekly or monthly or bi-weekly gameplay videos over there, and I just could not keep up with it. I do have a full-time job, so going over there and also posting on that channel, it just wasn't feasible. I couldn't put the quality content in on the main channel and that channel at the same time. I might go back to posting on that channel. In this season 15, I'm kind of going back to my roots. I'm going to be posting a lot less shorts and a lot more full videos, but I'm also going to be kind of focusing on quality content and not just posting stuff because like I feel like posting it. If I do feel like posting something, like all these news videos I've posted over the last couple weeks, I probably would post those on the second channel in the future. So if you do want to stay tuned for that, I would go over to that TimPro Plays channel and subscribe to that. I might also be rebranding that channel to just call it TimPro. So this is more like myself and my personal channel where I can post whatever I want. Doesn't necessarily have to be strictly Apex Legends stuff. I do want to do a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, which is going to be Glitch Energy. Spooky season is here, guys. If you did miss it, Glitch Energy just launched a new flavor, Phantom Potion. You should go check that out. Glitch revamped their formula pretty recently, and it does have 8 clinically trademarked ingredients, and it is the premier product on the market right now. I personally have been loving Dragon Sweat as well, so I do recommend that flavor. You can use code TimProVision for 15% off. There's a link in the description down below. Check it out. You will not be disappointed. That's going to be it for the community Discord questions. Going over to the YouTube community page now, we do have a few more to answer. Kark asks, have you played Overwatch 2 and what are your thoughts on it? How do you manage to juggle your full-time job and being a content creator? Thank you for all the amazing videos. Thank you so much, Kark. I appreciate the kind words. I have played Overwatch 2. I maybe have 2 to 3 hours on it. I do enjoy it quite a bit. It's a good casual game. I do kind of like it. I've thought about making like a tip video for Overwatch 2, but there's so many characters that I don't know enough about that game to really post anything on it. So I am holding off on that. And how do I manage juggling my full-time job with being a content creator? I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy. You're gonna lose sleep, and at least I do in my position. I try to time everything as good as I can. I try to be very efficient, and I just make the most out of what I can. And if I can't do it, then I just can't do it. You know, there might be a time in the future where, you know, I don't have to juggle this, but for now, I'm gonna keep juggling it the best I can. RJ asks, what am I most excited for with the release of Season 15? It's definitely the new Legend Catalyst. She looks absolutely dope. I think she's going to be a very good Legend, and I do think she's going to be a meta contender, so I can't wait to try her out. But of course, the new map is pretty high up there as well. The map looks beautiful. Asher asks, if you could bring back a game, but with that you have to kill another game, what would you bring back and which game would you kill? For me, I'd probably bring back the heyday of Final Fantasy XI, and the game I would have to kill, probably like Halo Infinite. As much as I love the Halo franchise, that game's gotta go. Lightning asks, what do you think about the people who find everything to blame on other than themselves, aka that 250,000 Mirage player saying you're a bad teammate? I think those people need to take a look inward and understand that sometimes they are part of the problem. Taking ownership over anything is going to dramatically like increase your success at anything. And as soon as you can do that, you can kind of work on it and understand, you know, what's actually going on here. Konichi asks, thoughts on the meta and almost everybody doing only what the pros show them to do, Seer, Horizon, etc. Interesting question. I think what people don't maybe understand is definitely pros have an influence on the meta, but the meta is the meta, and the meta would happen regardless of what you are seeing on screen, because everyone wants to do the best they can. So the more people play, the more they figure stuff out, the more the meta evolves, and you'd be figuring that out anyway. Because if you did play and you never watched any content creator, you'd start noticing that you're dying by more Seer, so everyone else starts picking up Seer. It's just kind of how it goes, but definitely watching creators and watching pros, this definitely makes things look a lot more fast-paced and things change more rapidly. Yazoo asks, do you think you're going to branch out to other popular games such as Overwatch? I love the content. Not sure if I'm going to do Overwatch content. I did mention that earlier. I think there's just too much there for me to handle. I might make a Warzone tip video though. I do have it slated in my schedule to release at the later end of November. Not quite sure if it'll happen. Gotta wait and see how the game is though first. A simple one, what helps you prevent burnout on a game like Apex? I get it, it's your job, but these tips can help someone keep pushing for a rank badge day to day. I definitely do get burnout on Apex, and it's actually not my job. It's just like my part-time job, my half-time job, whatever you want to call it. So that definitely helps. The fact that I'm not, you know, I don't have to play the game definitely helps me quite a bit. But how do you prevent burnout? You prevent burnout by taking regular breaks, and you go play other things and do other things that is not Apex Legends. If you do this more frequently, you just won't get burnout on something. It's just how it works. Alex Sweep asks, I want to know about you. If I'm married, what's home life like? And also when I started getting into gaming. I pretty much have been always gaming for as long as I can remember. I am married. I got married just about a month ago now. And home life, I do own my own house, and I'm 31 in case that's the question. If Apex Legends didn't exist, what game do you think your channel would be based around? If Apex Legends didn't exist, I probably would be playing like Destiny 2 right now. I was playing Destiny a ton before this game did come out. I was also playing a good amount of Fortnite before this game came out, but I was getting really down on Fortnite even before Apex did come out. So I was pretty much like at the end of my ropes back then. I would probably also be playing a lot of Call of Duty. Realistically, that's probably what my channel would have been around. I think actually, you know, if my channel was a Call of Duty channel, I probably would have grown a little bit bigger and faster, just because there's so many more people that casually play Call of Duty. It just has a bigger audience. But overall, I do really enjoy Apex, so I'm happy that I am in the Apex scene. Invincible asks, do you ever talk to the Apex devs and tell them what you want to be added and updated? Not really. You know, when I go to these preview events, you do get to ask them questions, but it's not like you're having a conversation per se. They don't have to answer your question. They do usually answer all the questions, which is good, but I don't have like any developer on speed dial. I can't really like ring them up and say, you know, what's going on with this. Jordan asks, favorite show of all time, and also what's your visual settings? I don't do anything to my visual settings other than like increase the saturation or the gamma by like 0.02. And my favorite show of all time is probably going to be Battlestar Galactica or Stargate. I'm a huge sci-fi fan, so I would pick one of those two. Jack Gray asks, do you think Apex is the best BR out there, and what tweaks to the overall game do you think should be added? Right now, I would absolutely say Apex Legends is the best battle royale. What tweaks do I think the game should have? I think just a reduction in the scanning meta would be pretty nice. This would increase the skill gap, and I think it would make the game feel a little bit more fresh and like someone can't just track you through walls all the time. Thoughts and personal experience on PC versus console Apex. So I obviously have probably 4,000 hours on console Apex Legends. I do have a couple hundred hours on PC as well, on mouse and keyboard and with the controller. Overall, I do find the experience to be very similar. I think the average skill of the console player is a little bit higher than PC. Generally though, if you find a PC player who is very good, their skill level is way higher than a console player. But overall, I find it a little bit easier to succeed on PC versus console, just because when people are picking up controllers and playing on console, console, it feels like it's a little bit easier barrier to entry, whereas on PC, people are mostly playing with mouse and keyboard, which I think is a little bit harder to manage than controller. Peter Hoover asks, what is the chances of becoming a pro Apex player, and what is the reality of being a pro esports player? The chances are extremely low. I would say 0.001%, and the reality of it is that even when you do become a pro esports player, depending on the game you are playing and depending on the org you are signed to, your life is going to be very difficult. You're going to have to put a lot of hours in game for a very little like reward to pay back, unless you can consistently win tournaments and be like that #1 person. In that case, you're probably not on like a tier 2 or 3 organization. You're probably on like a TSM or 100 Thieves or something like that. But otherwise, your life is going to be pretty difficult. Josh Storms asks, what video editor do I use and what is my thumbnail thing that I use? I use DaVinci Resolve as my editing program. I have the studio version, but I used the free version for a long time. I use Affinity Photo, which is basically like Photoshop, but you only got to buy it once, so it was 25 bucks. Peter Hoover also asks, will I ever switch to PC instead of console? Probably eventually. I know I do really enjoy playing on Xbox. I enjoy the simplicity of it, and I enjoy that it's just like kind of what I've always done. I am working on ordering a second computer so I can more easily play on PC, but right now I can't really stream, record, and play games all on the same computer without the game just looking like crap. And since I am primarily a creator, I do want the game to look pretty good because it is what people are watching. So I am eventually going to be playing on PC a lot more. I've wanted to play like Super People and those kind of games while recording at a high like quality, and I just haven't been able to do it. So I am going to get a second computer eventually. And I think that is about it. That is all the time we have for questions, guys. Let me know if you have any other questions. You can drop a comment down below. I will try to answer them. This is my last full video for season 14. Season 15 is right around the corner. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for all that season 15 content. We got legend guides, tier lists, tip videos, and a lot more on the way, plus a couple extra kind of special things that I have been working on for quite some time now. I will see you in the next one. Happy gaming.